Good morning, my dear friends. I am Prashant Mavani and I warmly welcome all of you to StudyIQ. I hope you all are doing good. Today is 24th March. Today is Saturday as well. I'm sure you are gradually slipping into this weekend mood, right? But I would reckon you guys to not break this link. Study is something that you should do on regular basis. Tomorrow is Sunday. Today is Saturday. So if you are taking or if you are planning to take some time off, then there is no harm in it at all. If you ask me personally, then yes, we need a bit of time off as well, but make sure that that particular time off is limited. You have fixed hours. You should plan it very thoroughly, and you should try to stick with your, you can say, entertainment schedule, and this will help you. When you'll come back, you will be fresh, you'll have new energy. And let's see what we have got in the positive start of the day. Don't stop chasing your dreams, because dreams do come true. If you ask me, then I would say dreaming is basically about creating pictures in our head and telling the words to ourselves. And I believe, and this is proved as well. You know, when you see this Olympic athletes, when they have to wake up at 3:30 or 4 in the morning, and when they are out there in their track and field, they don't say this thing that oh, they have to wake up at what they see the positive side. They create this picture in their head, and this is part of their training as well. They create this picture that they would be having a sort of Olympic medal around their neck, and this will make them more fit. And you know, these are the words and these are the pictures that they create. And you can do the same thing as well if you are preparing for a particular exam. Say for example, if you are aspiring to become an IPS officer, I'm just giving you one example here. So you can imagine you're passing out parade, and you know, you're wearing that uniform and things like that, and the words that you tell yourself that yes, I can do it, and things like that. So these are the things, these are the practical side of, or how you can utilize your dreams that can help you in achieving them as well. So yes, don't stop. Means first of all, you have to visualize this dream, and then you have to chase them as well. But of course, hard work is the key. Just imagination will not help. Now, having said that, dear friends, let's see what we have got on our table today. As you can see, today is Saturday, so we have one page here. Very interesting articles, no doubt. This one is about a first step. It is talking about Ayushman Bharat. Now, of course, it is a good scheme, or the intention is right, but there are many things that we have to do if we want to see this Ayushman Bharat to succeed. The second one is this rising risks. We are going to see, talk about economy, world economy. There is a very interesting rate as well that is discussed here, or you find it in this editorial. A particular rate, we'll talk about it. So I think there are high chances you will find one MCQ, right? You never know, you may find one MCQ on this thing, and every drop counts, isn't it? So very important article here. We will talk about some concept of global economy, demand and supply. Now I must tell you here one thing, that continuity is the key. It's not possible for me as well in this limited time to repeat everything that I have already discussed earlier on. So for all sincere candidates, right, I will reckon you guys, all sincere aspirants, right, you have to maintain this continuity. If I can maintain a continuity, I'm just, you know, I deliver this lecture, so you can imagine I'm doing more work, isn't it? So if I can maintain this continuity, then your job or your main purpose or your main task of work is to study, isn't it? So there should not be any excuse at all when it comes to maintaining continuity. Moving on now, again, it's up to you whether you watch it early in the morning or in the afternoon or in the evening. It's totally up to you, but continuity is the key. And when you are watching it, I will reckon you guys to wear a headphone or headset, or maybe earbuds or something, so that you are with this discussion audio wise as well as video wise. And now, Donald Trump and the art of breaking deal. This is about Iran nuclear deal and USA, the stand taken by Donald Trump and the things that are going on in USA. Very interesting article again. It will be again add on to what to the things that we have already discussed in the past. And this one is about Tibet is not a card. We will see why relationship between China and India, at present we can see there are many cracks and there are many valleys between these two countries, right? When I say valleys, I mean to say not geographically but politically. So this article is talking about the Tibetans, or Tibet is not a card. It is not a, you can say, a tool that you can use to either improve relationship with China or you can say create more cracks. It is not a tool at all. It should be seen from a totally new approach. The things have changed quite a lot, so that should be visible in the strategy of our country as well. Right, so these are the things. Now if we are ready, let's crack on. But before that, this is my Facebook page here. You can follow me, you can get in touch with me, as well as you will be able to download PDF of this discussion, of this lecture on regular basis from my Facebook page. I share a link as well as a video link from which you can, from that platform, from this Facebook page, you can download your file and watch this video as well. With this, dear friends, I would reckon you guys to share it with other people as well, to those students whom you believe will benefit out of this discussion. StudyIQ provides pen drive and tablet courses for various different exams. At present, Navratri sales are going on, and if you haven't checked it yet, I will reckon you guys to do it now, because Navratri sale is going to end very soon, and late means after that no requests will be entertained. So please check out studyiq.com and choose the best course that you think you require, and make the most out of this discount. Just in case if you have any question, queries, you have chat support, you have this phone numbers here, you can feel free and give us a call as well. Now let's start with this first step. Ayushman Bharat is also known as Ayushman Bharat, is a Hindi name of this scheme. National Health Protection Mission is the name of this, or you can say the English version, NHPM. Now it is basically an insurance scheme, and this was announced in the budget session. We have talked about it earlier on as well. Now some basic preliminaries, right? Health cover will be provided of 5 lakh rupee per year to 10 crore poor and vulnerable families. Remember this thing, 5 lakh rupees per year. This amount will be or this insurance amount is provided to one family, right? And the main aim here is to provide this insurance cover or insurance protection to 10 crore poor vulnerable families. So on an average, if we say that you have 5 members in a family, so here we are talking about 50 crore people of our country. Now this also, that if you read between the lines, you will find that 50 crore people in our country, right, are vulnerable families as well, isn't it? They are poor and vulnerable families. If you break down this whole line, then you find that yes, they do need a protection, they do need a health protection, because I'm sure, and in a nutshell I can say that if you want to see this thing, if you haven't so far, then if you pop down into any hospital, particularly this government hospitals, and you will find people are sleeping on the floor, right? Many a times you find patients as well, they are lying on the floors, and their bottles and everything is going on. The treatment basically is going on. So overcrowded hospitals, we know. The other thing is every year in our country we find 6 crore people, right? They become poor, normal people, right, who are just living above the line of poverty. They become poor because they have to pay money, they have to sell their assets and other valuable items to pay hospital bills. So definitely we require a very good national health protection mission, and Union Cabinet recently gave its green signal to this national health protection scheme. So the first step has been taken by the government. Now this is a statement that, or this is a line that I found in today's editorial, not blaming anyone, but see here, even today we are talking about this national health protection mission. We know its importance, but see here what this line is saying, that considering the small window just over a year available before the term of the present government ends, urgent action is needed to roll out such an ambitious scheme. Now I'm having a sort of temptation that let me leave this line for you guys. What do you make of it? I will discuss this thing tomorrow with you guys, right? I was going to, but just now I have decided that I will leave it on you guys to decide. What do you make of this line, right? There is a very, you can say, interesting or hidden message behind this sentence here. There is a dark message, I must say. So let's see how many of you can get it, or how many of you are able to find it out. Now, moving on, if we want to execute, if we want to roll out this scheme, then we would need an apex council that can steer the whole program. We would need a governing body or governing board that can operationalize and implement this scheme. So apex council can formulate this whole strategy, and it can look after this whole program. If something is going wrong, then it can take some independent decisions and things like that. You would need a governing board that can operationalize and implement this thing. And of course, right, state governments, without partnership of state government, we are not able to see any sort of you can say result, right? Because this scheme, of course, it is a centrally sponsored scheme, but implementation will be done by states, and without states' active participation or partnership, we won't be able to see that good result. Even if our intentions are right, if our actions are not matching our intentions, then you know it very well that you won't get that result. And there are many challenges, there are many mountains that we have to surmount if we want to provide this universal health coverage, because the root of this scheme, you find it in universal health coverage. And if you don't know what universal health coverage is all about, then here is a definition from WHO. Basically, it means that all people, universal health coverage does not mean that you will get treatment for free. Everyone gets a treatment for free. No, that's not right. All people obtain the health services they need without suffering financial hardship. We have to remember this thing, that you don't suffer from any financial hardship. If you see India's situation, then what will happen is that taxpayers, right, they will pay some bit of extra tax, or you may find health cess and other things. It may sound a bit painful because we have to pay tax or a bit of money. Everyone has to contribute a little bit, maybe 10 rupees, 20 rupees. You don't know, you can come out with a figure, and it can be applied on, different classes, like super rich, they can pay some extra money and things like that. Of course, it is going to create some sort of trouble, means people will not be happy. And then you have also this risk of creating this divide. These people will think that we are taxpayers and we are paying tax, our hard-earned money, we pay tax or we contribute towards this healthcare scheme, and then you find some poor people smoking cigarettes and chewing tobacco and boozing alcohol, and this sort of things. When you are paying something at the end of the month, even you are paying or contributing 100 rupees, and then you will, this is very natural. People will think they have this ownership over the scheme and things like that. So this sort of troubles or this sort of challenges as well we may face. But in India, we can do this thing, that people can contribute in this way, a mandatory contribution, right, not a voluntary one. And this money can be used, and then government can have some extra money, it can add some more money, and then we can repair our hospitals and create extra beds and new medical colleges and other things as well. And we would need a proper law enforcement. We would need, you can say, a proper laws as well, right? Without that, this scheme, proper law backup would be required to this scheme. A benefit, I may say, of this scheme is, of course, sustainable development goals. There are 17, and you find good health and well-being, which is very basic. And we have raised this bar here, right? We are constantly raising our bar, trying to cover more and more people. We have many different schemes as well going on at present. But we have to also keep this thing in mind, that we have got 12 years to go now, dozen years to go. A dozen year to go to hit this deadline, and before that we have to anyhow try to achieve this universal health coverage. Now, by just adding more money or by just money, can we solve this problem? I'm providing you a holistic approach here. The answer is a big no. Just money cannot do. Of course, money is going to play, or finance is going to play a very important role, But there are other things as well. Affordable housing. Without proper housing facilities, right, a very nice, or you can say a human level or human standard housing facility or shelter, you cannot expect good health. If you see, then you find so many, like say example of slums, you know it very well. I'm sure you might have seen many programs in the slums. There are many diseases. It becomes a breeding ground of many other diseases as well. And India is infamous for slums and this sort of thing. So affordable housing scheme can provide a good environment, a good living condition to the people. Then we need planned urban development as well. We find there are many problems, and they directly impact our health. Pollution control, this is again a sort of you can say a subtopic, or directly means the result comes from your planning, how good your planning is, how good your this transportation is, public transportation. And if it is not that good, then you will see more and more people using private vehicles, more vehicles on the roads, more traffic, more pollution and things like that. Road safety, many people in our country, nearly, if I'm not wrong, somewhere around 5 lakh people, right, every year they become disabled in our country. 5 lakh every year, somewhere around 5 lakh every year, because we lose somewhere around 1 lakh people, if I'm not wrong here, if the figures are right. 5 lakh every year become disabled because of road accidents. So you can see this brings new health challenges as well. Then I have added one more point here: food, the food that we eat outside, right? And now the way things are going on, people have to travel from one place to another for their work, and you know it very well that the food that we eat outside, even in good restaurants, you know that they have this cold stored food for it's going on for many days, and this is something that is not healthy and humane, but we find it in our market. So until and unless we don't sort out these things, we want to be able to achieve this good results of this health scheme. I hope it is making sense that you are providing insurance, but you have to create this situation of proactive steps that a person or a family, right, they don't have to use this thing, they stay healthy for a very long period of time. Niti Aayog also talked about this state specific approach, a more customized approach, and this is something, yes, that can be discussed as well. So these are the things associated with this Ayushman Bharat, one of the most important article or editorial in today's discussion. Now coming on to rising risks, you have this USA's federal bank, which is you can say a counterpart of RBI in USA. So it is a Federal Reserve Bank of USA, and it has raised its benchmark short-term interest rate by 25 basis point from 1.50 to 1.75. Now the thing is, we have to understand this sort of news items or this sort of lines when you read, right? You should not just remember these numbers. Nowadays those days are gone. They don't ask you this type of figures, because again these figures are very fluctuating, right? It goes up and down most of the time. As far as this particular case is concerned, it is going to stay here for a bit of long time. But when I say long time, I'm talking about a couple of months, or maybe half a year, or maybe a year, 6 months, or 1 year, or maybe 1.5 years. Still we have to wait and watch, because there are high chances that interest rates will go up in USA, or it will be raised by this Federal Reserve Bank. Now you have to think, what will be its impact on the market? The depositors, the people who are or who have their money in saving accounts, or if they have deposited their money, and if they are earning a bit of interest out of these deposits, then they are going to be happy, isn't it? Because they are going to get some extra money by the end of the month. Interest rate going up means they will get some extra money. But what will happen with the borrowers, those borrowers who have borrowed money from the bank, and now they have to pay extra interest, right? And if imagine a business that is running in or it is operating in a very you can say competitive market, and if a little bit of price going up or a little bit of expenses going up, and you are very tight on your profit, you cannot increase your profit because of this competition. So you can imagine that this is going to create huge losses for you. So it will bring, you can say, happiness on the face of depositors, but borrowers will definitely cry. The other thing is that it will squeeze this markets and the wider economy. And the reason why I'm saying that it will squeeze is because when the loans becomes expensive, right, then your other economic activities will go down. If you see, means if you study this 2008 and post 2008 era, then you will find that interest rates were lowered, and because of this thing there were many borrowers at that point of time. There are many borrowers, in fact, even today as well. They borrowed huge amount of money, they invested it in many other businesses and things like that. So now when this interest rate is going on, activities are going to come down. There are high chances that they will become defaulter as well, because as I told you, imagine a situation, and there are many businesses out there, particularly in international markets, and there are many international borrowers as well. They have borrowed money from different countries, and this is going to create problem. Now the other thing is that if you observe USA's economy, then you find that USA's economy is growing steadily. Now when your economy is growing steadily, that means everyone is having a bit of money is coming in, people are having a bit of money. I'm just giving you a hypothetical example, and this is how we can understand this sort of concepts, I believe. So just in case if you have any doubt, you can write me down in my Facebook message and I will try to explain it to you, but I don't think so that would be required. So US economy is growing at present at a very steady rate, and with that you have inflation as well. So people are having money, and things means there is a sort of inflation as well, because more and more money, or you can say money, good amount of money chasing limited products or services. So people will say, I will pay 5 rupees extra and things like that. I'm just giving again hypothetical example. So you cannot lower your interest rate. If you lower your interest rate, what happens is the flow of money will go up in the market, and this can kick inflation. And if you raise your interest rate to control this inflation, then you see this sort of situation that businesses are getting affected. So it's a very tricky situation. Now this is the rate I was talking about. Remember this rate, this is called London Interbank Offered Rate, right? London Interbank Offered Rate, and it is a rate at which international banks lend to each other. So say for example a Fed Reserve, right, giving money to our RBI. So the rate at which it will give money to us, it's called LIOR, London Interbank Offered Rate, and this is international banks lend to each other. And the other thing is that it serves as a benchmark for lending rates, because what happens is that if your bank is borrowing, if RBI is borrowing money from Federal Reserve, say for example, and if this Fed Reserve is increasing its rate, then definitely RBI would be paying more interest, and then RBI will charge more interest from SBI and other banks, and so they will charge more interest from this borrower. So it will impact the whole chain. It can impact the whole global economy. I hope this is clear. Apart from that, we have also got this trade wars, China and USA, and Mr. Trump, and this can also kick this outflow. Money may go out, particularly in our share market and other places. Money can go out, because if these people who are having money, they have invested in India, and if they find that if they can make more money by depositing this money in their bank and by investing it in US economy, then of course they are going to take away money from India, and this money may flow towards USA. So these are the things, and this will create a sort of fund crunch in our country. I hope this is clear. Now moving on to another item, Donald Trump and the art of breaking a deal. 2015's Iran nuclear deal, a special video lecture is available on this thing. I have delivered it, available both in Hindi and English. Make sure you check it out. Today is Saturday, tomorrow is Sunday. You have enough time to go through this one. I think a couple of months ago I have delivered it. You will find it in our playlist, right? Important topics or hot burning topics for UPSC and things like that. Right. So 2015 Iran nuclear deal. It was a international deal, international community's deal with Iran, and Barack Obama was the main player. It was because of his enthusiasm, and it was because of his belief in peace and things. We saw this fructification of this 2015 Iran nuclear deal. Now we have Mr. Trump, and I'm sure you know it very well, for a very long period of time. It means basically Mr. Trump is not happy about this deal at all. And it's not just this deal. There are many other deals about which Mr. Trump is not happy about. And this whole nuclear deal was to curtail this Iran's nuclear program. In return, Iran was offered this lifting of international sanctions, because sanctions were creating this political as well as economical turmoil and social turmoil in Iran. So a pressure was on Iran as well. At the same time, the international community was worried about Iran's nuclear program, because what happens is that every few years you find some countries coming out with this nuclear weapons, and then it becomes very difficult, right? Having more and more nuclear countries is very difficult. It may lead to this proxy wars. We have talked about India and Pakistan. You cannot do anything about proxy war, isn't it now? Because both these countries are having nuclear weapons. They both are nuclear states, and Pakistan, we know it very well, for a very long period of time it is executing this proxy war on us, but we cannot attack. We talked about this 1999's Kargil attack as well, that the reason why we did not attack this Pakistan because of this nuclear thing. So anyways, now as per USA's law, every 90 days president of USA, he or she has to certify this nuclear deal, and the last deadline, or May 12, is the deadline for, or 90 days are going to get over. And what we see at present is that hardline critic of Iran are taking over, or you can see them in many important places. Now I have a question for you. I have not prepared a separate question for you guys in today's slide, because I am a bit disappointed again. Not that many answers. Now I'm sure you might have been busy with something, but today I would expect you guys to sort out that backlog, right? So make sure you come up with your answers, and don't write, please don't write A, B, C and D. You have these options, right? Don't write just C and B and whatever the answer is. Write down the proper answer, please. I may request you this thing, that please write down proper answer. Just don't write C and B and things like that, right? So Mike Pompeo, you have 3 names here, so do let me know what is the main job of Mike Pompeo, what is the main job of Jim Mattis, and what is, or who is John Bolton, the roles that are going to be handled by this people in USA. Do let me know. Now what we find is that all these 3 important, you can say, players, leaders, right, they are hardline critic of Iran, and they are supporting Mr. Trump to cancel this deal. Now as I told you, this Iran nuclear deal is not a deal between USA and Iran. It is a United Nations deal with Iran, right? Because it was United Nations who decided that this P5+1 is this Germany, right? Permanent 5 members plus Germany. And this countries, they had a discussion with Iran, and finally they agreed on this thing. So it is an international deal, and one country cannot sabotage this deal. USA cannot cut off this deal. One more question for you guys. What is the official name of Iran nuclear deal? Give me the official name. Moving on, main objective of the deal was, of course, to stop Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons, and the only alternative that we had at that point of time was a war. Now Iran is not like Iraq or Libya. It is a very strong as well as a network country, so war is not, or was not, an easy option, and means it would have created huge amount of destruction. Thank God that we opted for discussion. So we decided to go ahead with the deal, the world community. Now today what we see is USA is bit against under Trump administration, and if we see the positive side, together Iran and USA, they can work in stabilization of Afghanistan. They can defeat this Taliban as well, and ISIS can be controlled, because ISIS is killing Iranian people too. But what we see is Israel and Saudi Arabia, the allies of USA, they are arch rival of Iran, and they don't want this sort of deals to, they don't want this deal. They want Iran under sanctions. At the same time, they don't want Iran to produce nuclear weapons. But the thing is, if you put Iran under sanctions, then they are going to carry on or they will resume their a nuclear weapon program, and then it would become very difficult for us to ask them to come on table, join the table for renegotiation, because none of these countries are ready. Apart from USA, all these other countries, other 6 countries, right, they have clearly stated that they are not for renegotiation. They don't want renegotiation. This deal is perfect. United Nations as well says that Iran has not breached its promises under this deal. So it's very strange, and it is very, you can say, naive of Mr. Trump to behave in this way, because this will create more troubles, and this will also damage USA's reputation as a deal maker. In future, it will become very hard for us to bring North Korea on board. This is about Tibet. Let me quickly take you through it. Basically, there was a memo. It was leaked, and it came in the news that officials were being told by the government to stay away from this 60th anniversary of Dalai Lama's 1959 flight to our country, India. This is a bit of history. If you are not aware about it, then I will reckon you guys to go through the history of Dalai Lama and Tibet issue. It is important for us, because as far as India-China relationship is concerned, you should have a good understanding of this India-Tibet relationship, India-China relationship, and China-Tibet relationship. Now, this leaked memo has led to cancellation of several public events that were going to take place, and the thing is that it is believed, or Indian government is trying to project, that we are trying to appease, or we don't want to make China a bit angry about it. China is very aggressive when it comes to Tibet, so we don't want to upset our neighbor China. But the thing is, if we go through the recent problems that have taken place between India and China, then we find that it's not always Dalai Lama, or it's not always Tibetan people, right? There are many other reasons as well. Like, take this Doklam case. It has nothing to do with it has nothing to do with this holiness, His Holiness Dalai Lama. Then we have this USA's, means our drift towards USA in Indo-Pacific. Nuclear suppliers group. For a very long period of time, China has blocked our entry. When it comes to terrorism, China is playing this double standard. Then when it comes to South Asia, other things we have discussed about it. So it's very easy to say that the problems between India or Tibetan people and Dalai Lama can create more problems, but there are other things where you don't find any connection between this India and China's problem and Dalai Lama. So new realities are going on in Tibet as well. Development has taken place, and the sad thing is the people living in our country, right? There are 1 lakh plus Tibetans. They are living here now. You can imagine from 59 to now, you see there are second, third generation of Tibetans living here. Then you also have this rate of Tibetans who were migrating from China or from this Tibet portion to here in our country has slowed down as well. And there are multiple reasons. China is also blocking their exit route, having negotiation with Nepal and asking Nepal to close down this exit route for Tibetan people. Apart from that, they find livelihood opportunities because of development and road and other things, right? Train and other things have gone up. But the problem is the current Tibetan population, their connection with back home has, you can say, a bit disturbed, or it's not that good at present. So this whole course, what will happen, who is going to be the future leader, all these things are in question, and this sort of things cannot be sorted out if we don't discuss this problem, or if we cancel this sort of events. The other thing is, I would like you guys to remember this name is called Rangsen. Rangsen basically means freedom group, a freedom group. Many times you find this sort of questions in your MCQ. They ask you, Madhesis, they belong to which country or which region. So in the same way, Rangsen are from Tibet. Remember, they are basically a freedom group, and they are a bit aggressive as well. They are not going to be happy without a proper deal. And there are high chances that Dalai Lama and Xi Jinping, they may start having a discussion with each other. They may discuss with each other, and a sort of you can say a representative of Dalai Lama may have a chat with Xi Jinping. So these are the things between these two countries, and we should not use this Tibetan population or Dalai Lama as a strategic tool. Instead, we should be more open in discussion. Now, important news items. Office of Profit issued. Delhi High Court reinstates 20 AAP MLAs, and Arvind Kejriwal would be very happy with this news. He has also given the statement that our elected representatives were wrongfully disqualified. So important update here. I will reckon you guys to see the technicality of this thing as well with your self-study. Make sure you go through your technicalities, why, what is Office of Profit and things like that. In future, if we find editorial and other things, then I will discuss it with you guys. But of course, you should have some good understanding as well. You are preparing for competitive exams, so make sure you are doing your self-study on regular basis. Then you have this Rajya Sabha seats, how people are elected or how members are elected in Rajya Sabha. This is a question that you should try to find your answers, right? Do we vote? Do we vote for electing Rajya Sabha members as a people? Do we, or who are the people? Who are this people who are part of this electoral college of this Rajya Sabha members? Then 3 killed in a series of attacks in France. Terrorist attack took place in France in this mall that you can see on your screen, right? And it is the person, this terrorist is hunted down, and you can see here this sort of attacks are going on in different European countries. We have talked about it in detail. Just to stay up to date with it, couple of days, maybe tomorrow or maybe on Monday or Tuesday we'll find editorial or article on this thing. Vanka is not happy with this chaos that is going on for 15 consecutive days. We are losing so many precious hours. No wrong done has been said again by Sushma Swaraj, that she has never kept the family members in dark. Center has issued notice to Cambridge Analytica. We talked about it yesterday as well. And Power Minister has urged battery producers to make in India so that we can rely on ourselves. By 2030 we are going to have these EVs, isn't it, electronic vehicles, and without good batteries we won't be able to make our country a sort of, you can say, energy secure country. International Solar Alliance, and there are other things that you can think about or connect here. That's everything that I have got in today's discussion. Enjoy your Saturday. Make sure you check out studyiq.com for pen drive and tablet courses. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the notification bell, do share this lecture with other people as well. It is going to be this, you are basically doing this Nalanda or Nalanda philosophy, right? You are gift sharing when you are sharing it with someone else, and pass your answers. And please do give me your like if you have learned something from today's discussion. That's everything that I have got here. Thank you very much for your support and for your love. God bless you all. Jai Hind.